Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Penda James, and I just want to welcome you back to the Resilience Project. This is a safe place for me to have conversations with my friends and introduce my friends to my friends so we can all do awesome work together in the kingdom. I'm having a conversation with someone that I recently met, but was introduced to over a year ago when I started the Resilience Project. And her name is Shelley Hernandez. So I'm going to tell you three things that I know about her. And then I'm going to let her tell you what she wants you to know about her. And then we'll get into her declaration, which is really powerful. So get your journals, get ready to hear a powerful bounce back story today. Number one, I know that Shelley is a creative fireball. She is one of the most creative people that I've met in a long time. We're currently taking a class together, and I watch her when her eyes light up, when something powerful happens inside of her, and it ignites me too. I know that she sings a little bit and is a musician and has a song out there. Hopefully, you can tell us more about that, Shelley. And number three, I know that she has a powerful bounce back story that she's going to share with you because we had so much technological difficulty this morning. It never happens like that unless something powerful is about to happen. So I know that Shelley is powerful. I'm grateful to be connected to her, and I'm also grateful to introduce her to you. So thank you for being here. Let's go. Shelley, what is something that you want your listeners, our listeners, to know about you that I didn't say?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, an honor to be heard. And I have a radio station and I have a TV network. Uh, I don't really talk about a lot of that kind of stuff because I don't like fake friends. But what I really want people to know about me is that I have been trying to get the people together for my whole entire life. And I'm grateful to have this opportunity to get to tell this kind of side to myself because I don't always often share a lot of the stuff that I've done for one reason or another. I never really felt like it was a thing that should be bragged about or anything like that. I just do it things. And I am the kind of person that I like to connect people. I see a need, I see a need, I see a talent, I see a need, I put the two people together. And this creates such awesome magic. There was a time in my life when I used to be really, really sick from severe anemia and hypothyroidism. The combination was like, I couldn't think, I couldn't get up, I couldn't move. I would just be laying there and I used to cry, because I couldn't get up. And I come from a past history of being on drugs. So I used to be like a superhero when I was on drugs. I could get up and I could go and I could do this and I could do that. But then when I stopped doing drugs, what was really wrong with me came out, and I would cry because I couldn't do anything. And I started going on Facebook and I started seeing some of my friends, like, need a musician needs a guitarist. My guitar friend needed a band, put them together. Um, and before I knew it, I was making connections with, nonprofit organizations and people that were needing that kind of exposure and help. And I was creating really big events in different states all around the world. I mean, I've touched the UK, I've touched, famous people, not famous people, just a lot of my friends that I know they met me through putting them together with other people. So like if I see a movement over here and they have the same like sort of goal or orientation or the same mindset, I will put them together, and what happens is so powerful. And it's sad because during the riots, a lot of my hard work and effort went down the toilet. And what I want you guys to know about me is that I don't believe in color. If you see my skin, you see my skin, you see it. Do you see how it is? I'm a
Yes.
cheetah. I identify with cheetahs. All right. And I used to help the Black movement a lot until they turned on me. They all turned on me during the riots, you guys, and that's not cool. That's not cool. I have put you guys together and I have made things happen, and it broke my heart. And I just wanted to say that to the world that, you know what? I'm not white, I'm not Black, I'm not Mexican, I'm not nothing but a cheetah. And I was trying to help y'all out, and people turned on me. And I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying people turned on me, threw me off the boat that I helped them build. And this is why I believe that if we lock arms, we could do great things, because I put people together with the Friends of the African Union and the New Black Wall Street, and they started their own currency. They are getting together dual passports and citizenships, and all of this. They're building a school, and all of these things happen because I put people together. Now they won't give me the credit because that's their doing, right? But I don't want the credit. I just want to see progress. I want to see you guys, all of you, thrive and grow and be one people. And what hurt me was the fact that what I saw you guys all going against your own beliefs. You went against the white man for what they did, when in fact it wasn't even the white man that did it. It was an institution that did it, and it had nothing to do with our unity. And what they did was they separated us, and they successfully separated us, and it caused chaos, and it caused confusion and separation. And what I'm trying to do is make us all one people, doing basically what is good for us all, and I like to bring like minds together, because it's important. If you see something out there that has a need, and a friend that can fill that need, and you don't put those people together, you're going to be responsible for it in the future, when you think about it, and that moment comes back to you where you're like, oh man, I should have put those people together. So that's really what I want you guys to know, is that when I'm out here, I'm putting people together and making things move. I may not be involved wholly, because after the riots, I kind of stepped back from making myself a part of anybody's movement, but I still connect people and put people together, because that is the beginning of what I believe in. And that is, connecting with each other, locking arms and saying, look, we're in this together, guys, no matter what.
So I'm a Black woman. I just want you to unpack a little bit what happened, I guess. Because I'm a Black woman, not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily explain what happened, but because I am a Black woman, and because I identify as a Black woman, I want to make sure that when you talk about your bounce back story and your declaration, which is, if we lock arms, we can do so much more together, that it's clear your heart is still the same, even though your actions have changed.
Okay, so let me give you a couple of examples. Michelle, our teacher, me and her, we were part of something called the Utopian Umbrella for a while. and they send out these mass emails, and they're not bad people. They just messed up. Their leader just messed up. And what had happened was he sent out a threatening email to a congressman here in California,
Oh, wow.
basically stating that they would continue to do these, the destruction and the rioting and the violence. They would continue to do this unless their demands were met.
I
Okay.
see.
Michelle was, she still works for the military, so it's her obligation to report these matters. So she reported them, and now me and all those people that were in the email list, probably Michelle included, are on a FBI watch list for terrorism and such. So you got to really be careful what you're getting involved in, guys, because you never know. You might be doing a really great thing. And, me and Michelle, we both learned this lesson the really hard way. And then they turn around and turn on us because we aren't with that. There's the line, there's limits, and
What I hear you saying, Shelley, is that you can lock arms and get so much more done together, but you have to pay attention to who you're locking arms with. So then that leads me to our first question, which is, how do you define what it means to lock arms?
well, uh, you know, I could probably tell you stories better than I could explain a definition to you. When I was younger, I was a teenager. It was my first inclination that I can join people together under whatever circumstances. Well, I used to be into gangs because I grew up on the south side, or I mean, on the west side of San Bernardino, and I represented that gang in another city. And I drew people in because I wasn't like everybody else. I was from the city, I was different. And what I had learned was I started a new gang out there. People wanted to be a part of me. And that caused ripples. And it caused other gangs to gang up and unite against me, just me.
Wow.
That was, yes, I always feel so special when I tell that story because that was the day that I knew I was special. When all the north side Beaumont, the south side Beaumont, and the east side Banning united, and the families united against me, and my gang friends, they weren't in the vicinity to help me at the time. So I was all by myself with just me and my sister and two other people. And all these people I got kicked out for inciting a gang riot. I got expelled from school. But
Okay.
that was my moment that I knew that I was important enough to make, whether I make them join together in a gang, you know, or make them join together and against me. I knew I had the power to unite people. And that's really powerful because later on in my life, on the west side of San Bernardino, I was able to unite rival gang members that hated each other and warred with each other because of I came to them and I told them, hey, you know what? There's a threat of a gang and a race war, and I went to every head of every gang, but nobody wanted. They were like, you know what? That's over there. That's none of our business, and that's the way the world is. That's exactly the way the world is. They're like, oh, it's not over here, let's not worry about it. No, when you see it happening over there, that's when you need to step up. Nobody wanted to listen until a little girl got killed because of this, race war.
Wow.
And all the gangs met together, and my name was the main thing resounding was that, at my nickname in San Bernardino is Maravilla. And they all said Maravilla was the one who brought us all together, and that was another inclination because I was able to stop a race war, just me. But it took me going to all these people and getting turned down and rejected and told, you know what, that's over there. That's none of our business. That's none of our concern. And I was willing to die for what I was doing. And I was in the middle of the blacks and the Mexicans. I was literally living in the middle of them, trying to keep them apart until we could get this thing resolved. And once it got resolved, we didn't have any more issues with gang and race wars, because I made the rival gangs unite on both sides, the black and the Mexicans.
Wow.
So that was a very powerful thing to be able to do. And they did it because they wanted to stop what was about to happen, and they knew what was about to happen because I came to them and told them. And even though they didn't want to unite, they had to unite because that was the only choice that they had at the time. Otherwise, we would be, facing a lot of unnecessary violence from, the people that were perpetrating the gangs. They were actually saying they were from the West Side, and they were going and killing the blacks, and tagging West Side, or making it so that the Mexicans would get blamed for it, but they were really from San Gabriel Valley. We call that posing from back in the day,
Yeah.
but or perpetrating.
Perfect.
But the point is, yeah, perpetrating. And so the point is, that's how I could define what locking arms means to me, because you can make, like, one person can make a change. Like I tell everybody, one person can make a change if they're willing to die for it. If they're willing to die. And a lot of people saw me that I was willing to die. And there was, what, God rest his soul, his name is Chilo. He died protecting me.
Wow.
During this whole event, he was murdered. And I just want to give a shout out to Chilo from West Side, that he did believe in what I was doing, even though it made him mad that I was getting involved in something that was none of my business, none of my concern, because I am not a gangster by no means. I was never jumped in. I just represented my neighborhood. And when I was younger, I was stupid. I didn't know better. But I just want you to know that, if you're in a neighborhood and you have a speaking power, people, use your name and your reputation for good. If you're evil, use your evil for good. That's what I have to say about that, because I used to be what I consider bad, and I used my reputation of good integrity and a good word, and just being straight up with myself. And I went to these higher up people and I stopped something before it could get out of control. And it could have gotten really out of control because nobody would have known where it stemmed from. Nobody would have known where it came from. And, I believe that the Lord, the universe, or whatever you want to believe in, put me, or will put you, in a position where you must make a choice. And, I just say this to you: if you don't want to make a change in the world, you don't necessarily have to. But one day you'll be faced with something. One day you'll be faced with the result of you not making a stand. You don't want to see a bunch of innocent people dying because you didn't take your stand. And
Mhm.
that, to me, is the definition of locking arms, is bringing people together and making sure they stay together, and making sure that you do what must be done in the time that it needs to be done, not later after the fact, because then nobody's going to listen to you. You have to do it actively while it's happening, and you got to be willing to die for it. You really do. And people will see that passion in you. People will see that within you and be compelled to stand with you. And I've stood with many people that are weak. I stand with the oppressed. I've always been the kind of person to be there for anyone who was, being mistreated or abused. So, I'm always there for the little guys, the ones who, I don't even know how many lives I saved doing the things that I have done.
So as a leader, Shelley, what would you say to somebody who is a leader? They know that they're supposed to be a bridge builder, but they don't know how to get started.
Well, leaders pretty much don't know that they're leaders. They really don't. I don't really consider myself a leader. I really am a builder. I would rather be Bob the Builder and you guys, we all build together. a true leader will get down and dirty with you. And you know, what would get a person started is wanting something different, you know, wanting better for wherever you're at. Like, if you're in a bad neighborhood and, you know, there's gang violence, you know, how are you going to touch the people? You know, if you're in a drug ridden environment, how are you going to touch the people? You know, you just got to want something better. You got to put yourself in other people's shoes and make yourself realize that, you know, you're not an island, and that you need people just as much as they need you. And most leaders lead by example. Most leaders, they don't even know they're leaders. They're just doing and doing and doing and doing and doing, you know, and they don't really see that they are leaders. For those of you who might think you're a leader, if you think you're a leader, then begin by living your life as a complete utter example. You know, a lot of people come to me and they ask me questions like, you know, how did you get to be so strong? Well, you know, I have a really good story to tell you, you know, and my story will traumatize a lot of people, you know, and I had to learn to not traumatize people with my stories. But you know, if you really want to get started, like I started from my bed, you guys, and this is a huge thing. You know, when I was on drugs, I stopped the race war. So you don't got to be perfect, okay? You don't got to be Jesus fearing or any of that, okay? I'm just saying, like, I was on drugs, all whacked out of my mind, and everybody's like, "You're on drugs, all whacked out of your mind," you know. And but I accomplished this thing, you know, and it took about a year and a half to just get it all cleared up, you know, because people, you know, want to keep the violence going and keep the, you know, keep the division going. And you know, you got to be committed to whatever it is that you want to do. When I was finally done with drugs and I got sick and I couldn't get out of bed no more, I would cry because I was like, you know, I used to walk the streets with a sword and you know, basically run my own city, you know, be my own police, you know, had people calling me the warrior with the sword in Spanish, you know. Uh, but here's the thing, guys, when I was no longer a superhero on drugs, I was laid out on the bed and I cried. I cried, man, because I couldn't get up. And, you know, if you're in that kind of situation where you're too sick and you think you're not a leader, who said so? Who said that? Who said that you can't? I found a way. You can find a way too. And we are blessed in this day and age with the internet. The internet has blessed us to where we could touch people across the world and change their lives, you know. So, you know, if you don't think that you could be a leader, you could be leading right now and have no clue how many people are following you, how many people listen to what you say, you know. It all starts with you though, and the change that you make within yourself, you know. A lot of people think they got to change the world. No, they got to change themselves. They got to change their thinking. And you know, that's a big, huge issue where everybody wants to be a leader, but nobody wants to follow and learn, you know. But a good leader knows how to follow and learn and teach, you know. I, like I said, I don't consider myself a leader per se. I consider myself someone who wants to see better in the world. And I'm like you could have a boat, but what good is the boat without an engine or an oar, right?
Mhm.
I'm the one who gets you moving. I'm the one who makes everything move.
So my last question for you, Shelley, is how do you define what it means to be resilient and give us an example of a time that you had to bounce back?
uh, Being resilient would be like relentless, in
Oh,
your beliefs, in your moral code, uh, in your lifestyle, in your presentation of your life. You know, you have to be relentless in what you believe. I know right now there's this big old woke culture going on right now, and everybody's woke. Well, I just want you to know, don't double back. Don't be doubling back. Regardless of what you find out there, you know, if you believe in Jesus, stick with him. He ain't left you. Why are you leaving him? You know, if you believe in Ma'at, the
My
laws of Ma'at, then stick
my
Ma'at. Yeah, okay, Ma'at. Okay, if you believe in Ma'at, then stick with the laws that have been written. I mean, they're just the same as Jesus's. It's just a whole different name.
yeah.
That's all. Um, you know, I just don't want you guys doubling back and losing your foundation out there. Stay relentless. There's been times where I've been awakened and I've learned so many different cultures, from Buddhism to Egyptian to witchcraft. I know it all, man. Like, I can only tell you that there were so many times I've questioned my own beliefs. And that's important for us all, to question our beliefs and see where does our foundation lie. You know, my foundation, if there was no Jesus, my foundation lies in one thing. And it is in this, that when my son was born, he was born with a bilateral cleft lip, palate, and a hair lip. Have you ever seen that?
I had one.
Where, well, oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay, so then you understand there's no bone and skin in the roof of the mouth. This is all detached. Well, my son
Yes.
had a miracle. I believe that in this Jesus is God, and I asked this Jesus is God for a miracle, and he put bone and skin where there was none before. Okay, and that made me believe that there is somebody listening to me. Okay, I don't know his name. I would love to know his name, but you know, that's why we don't know his name, because we probably abuse it like we do Jesus. But you know, I just want you to know that that lined me up to get another miracle later on. My son, had a horseshoe shaped kidney, that two kidneys fused together, and they told me he was going to be born dead, that you know he was going to be in the ICU for most of his life, that he wasn't going to be able to pee on his own, all these negative things. But I believed in this God that healed my last son,
Yes.
and so I believed. And you know, he was murdered, because the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He was murdered with a needle in his carotid artery and put air into his heart. But his autopsy showed me that my faith wasn't in vain, and that he was murdered to keep the miracle that happened to him from us. And that was that he grew an entire brand new kidney. So where does my foundation stand? It
Yeah.
stands in those miracles. And that God that I prayed to, I may not know his name, but Jesus prayed to that same God. And I believe that same God that gave it to Jesus gave it to me,
Mhm.
because that's who I asked, right?
Yeah.
And when my faith started wavering, uh, you know, though that was my foundation. I said, nah, I don't care what all these other religions say and all this other stuff, because I know what happened. I was there. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you're going to be a leader, you have to be relentless. You can't say one day, I believe this, and then 3-4 years later, you get a new shiny belief, and then you try to push that one. People won't listen. People
Yeah.
won't listen. You have to stand on your moral code. You can't say, oh, I don't believe in drinking and smoking, and then 3 years later, you're out there drinking, partying, smoking. And what? How is anybody going to be able to follow your example? You see what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So you got to be relentless. You got to be persistent with your
Oh,
whatever it is that you
good.
believe. That's what draws people. What's
Yeah.
that?
That's good, Shelley. So thank you for locking arms with me today and sharing your declaration. If we lock arms, we can do so much more together. You gave us some really great examples. It was tough at the beginning. I was like, where is she going, Lord? But you brought it all back home Because the thing that I got from that is you really have to be careful who you associate yourself with in anything, you know, even with us in the class that we're taking. Like, I haven't told a lot of people that I'm doing it because I don't want people, I already experienced it once where somebody told me my idea wasn't good. So I can't lock arms with everybody. And that's what I got from that first part of our conversation, is that we can do so much more together if we're bridge builders for each other. And in locking arms, that's what it's really all about. Is there anything else that you want to share with the people before we go? How can they follow you, connect with you, listen to your music, listen to your radio channel?
Well, my radio station is at www.demospinradio.com. And you guys can follow me on Facebook. I like followers on Facebook because you guys get a lot of a lot of food from me. And you could find me under Shelley Hernandez in San Bernardino, California. You could find me that way. You'll know it's me because I look like I have superpowers in the picture, in the profile picture. So
yeah, I love that picture.
But I do too. My foot on the future.
I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for being here today, and thank you all for watching. Were you going to say something else before I?
Yes, I do. I want you guys all to know one thing that is like paramount to everything in this world, and it is we are one. Okay. We are one race. We are one people. We are one, regardless of our skin color. We are one with every single thing on this planet. We are one. And until we all can realize this and stop being divided by stupid ideas and skin color and other things like this, we're always going to not have the fullness of the glory of the Lord or the universe or whatever you believe in. Once we can learn that we are one and we can join together as one, this heaven on earth that everybody wants to get to, we can get to faster. So I just want you guys to know that that is paramount for everybody's success in leadership, in life, in everything. If you just include every single buddy and exclude no one, you will be a success. Thank you for having me and listening to my words.
Well, thank you for being here. We've been working on this for about a year, and I'm like, it was the time today. So I'm grateful that you were here. Thank you all for being here, and we love you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Like, and share. See you soon.